Welcome back to Awful Movie Reviews.
I am Torgo.
Nope, this is the guy that watches awful movies so that you don't have to. And with all the shit I've seen over the years, Manos, The Hands of Fate is hands down the worst film I've ever seen in my entire life. I can't deny that. And it's even worse than anything Ed Wood or Coleman Francis could ever put out.
Mike, what kind of place is this? My God, what kind of place is this?
But just before we get going, if there's a bad movie you'd like me to review, just leave me a comment down below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to never miss out on another bad movie review every Friday and cult horror movie review every Tuesday.
Right now. Fast, damn it, fast!
This is the kind of material you could use for an interrogation technique. It's the type of movie that is so bad that it doesn't even deserve to be called a movie. It's really awful in all senses of the term. This pile of crap was shot in and around the Texas desert, which for me is the only good thing about this. I did like the look of the shooting locations. Manos means hand in Spanish, so the literal translation is hands, the hands of fate.
No, you might have a point there.
A family is traveling through the state. We get the longest introduction ever. It felt like it was never going to end. They find themselves lost in the desert. Their car breaks down, and so they choose to spend the night in some crappy abandoned house. Now the family's totally oblivious to the obvious warning signs. They're greeted by some sort of creepy servant named Torgo, who makes it clear that those people aren't even wanted, but he also tells them about his weird master, which for me doesn't look like anything's going alright.
I don't know about it. I just don't know.
The master is actually some sort of cult leader with his 6 wives who worship some god named Manos. Well, I mean, I don't know, I'm guessing that, but the audience never gets a full explanation. And then from here, the story goes even more off the rails, since the screenplay seems to be deprived of all logic.
Nothing to worry about, it's only your imagination.
Check this scene for instance, where 2 policemen do a lengthy search of the desert. And that's just one example. The cult leader feels betrayed by Torgo. He says that he's gonna kill him in that scene, but he doesn't. All he does is stare at him and nothing happens, which was so confusing. And then there's the infamous never-ending girl fight scene. I don't know what that was all about.
You are responsible for this nonsense.
The least that I could say is that it made me raise my eyebrows. The director was actually a fertilizer salesman, and most of the cast and crew had no experience in filmmaking, which explains a lot. The actors are awful. There's not a single line of dialogue in this movie that doesn't sound fake.
Why don't you guys leave us alone?
But not only are the actors laughable, but the dialogue itself is not only terrible, but also terribly recorded. Sometimes it's barely audible.
It was a big dry place. It was so dark, but I wasn't afraid of the dark. I had all kinds of funny people in it.
Manos, The Hands of Fate is a pure failure on virtually every level. It was so bad that even back when it premiered, the audiences started cussing at it. The cast and crew were so embarrassed that they left the theater in secret.
Have a heart, will you?
I do have a bit of a soft spot for Torgo. The actor John Reynolds was reportedly on LSD during the whole shooting, and you can't miss it. The guy's always staring into the void and is constantly twitching in all of his scenes. And honestly, this may surprise a lot of people, but I think that it actually worked in the character's favor, because it gave him a very disturbed and weird touch. After the cult leader burns his hand, Torgo runs away into the night, and his fate was never made clear, because the director thought about making a sequel on Torgo's origins if the first movie was successful. You guys know how that turned out. The movie was never made, and John Reynolds also tragically committed suicide a few months before the movie's release. Anyways, Manos, The Hands of Fate is the worst movie ever made. I'm not even joking. This is a crime against humanity, and I hate it. It's unbearable, and it deserves to just be banished and disappear forever. What an awful movie.
You've said enough. Your turn will come as soon as we have disposed of the others. Go find the others! Hurry, before the night slips away!